All right. Phone sex. This was something that I was asked about many years ago and I was good at. But there's a few things to it because the question came up on our call, our Wednesday night call about like sometimes when you get into phone sex, it can ruin all chances. Like people get too deep with it and it's just too much, it's too overwhelming. So let's put a few things in perspective. Anytime we get sexual, anytime like that happens, like if you say something, if your legs touch on your first meetup, if you have phone sex, if you text message sex, like get all fucking crazy there and like all nuts, like flags go up because especially if it's like one of the first times she's ever felt that, or the last time she felt that she got used by a guy, or like her. And this is something that happens with women all the time. It's like when you get carried away sexually, you can have a bad experience. And so like one, there's a fear that a bad experience could happen, and if she's had a bad experience, number two, then it's like holy shit, fuck, like this is happening again. Whereas really she might not really fully realize what's going on. It's like you're not that same dude, or maybe you are that same dude or whatever, I don't know, yada yada yada. But you got to alleviate that. The main point is to alleviate that. So real simple thing is whenever I get sexual with somebody, which is always, it's like, like let me tell you a story that in the same time I was giving this advice, there were some guys who were like, Steve, I don't get this whole phone sex thing. And I shit you not. So I'm in Arizona to meet a girl, and this comes full circle in the story actually. But to meet a girl, and I'm on the phone with another girl, and this guy, Captain Jack, who was my mentor, and Sin, who was, also a guy that I hung out with and actually taught me too. They were like, we want to know about phone sex. And then another guy was in the room, Shaft. And I was in bed talking to this girl. And I just remember CJ and Sin sitting next to the bed, waiting, okay, what's he gonna say? And eventually it gets actually very quick. It gets weird because it's like, yeah, tell me how wet your pussy is or whatever. And Shaft at the time is just like, I do this all the time. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll be at Denny's. See you guys later or whatever. And but they stayed there for a bit. And they were really listening, and for maybe 5 minutes. But of course, I'm like, I'm at the time I didn't fully realize this, but I'm like a really sexual dude in comparison to those guys and what their motives were. And I'm gonna fucking jerk. I'm gonna get an orgasm out of this. So the funny thing is like I felt really comfortable with this, and I don't know why when I came into the pickup scene this was something that I did. But here's where this story comes into full circle, right? Is that when I arrived in Arizona, I was meeting a girl that I had had text message sex with for like a month or something. And I just knew this girl. I just knew I had met her and known her over text message for some time being. And then there was just, text sex stuff like, I'm going to fuck your whatever pussy and yada, yada, yada. And like, I'm going to, fucking humble you as a woman, or she's saying like, I'm gonna drain your balls, and like it got like really fucking crazy, right? And in fact, this is funny because we were talking about text messaging before, and she is one of the girls that I mass text messaged a bunch of girls. I was actually sitting with CJ at a bar. What's up, hooker? So what's up, and then all caps, hooker, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And like most of them texted back. And then I had a relationship with this girl for a while, and years after we broke up, somebody in San Diego texted her, what's up, hooker? And she's like, dude, I dated that guy. I am the blog post that came from, but good try. So anyway, we had this crazy text message like sex thing that started out with what's up, hooker. And I remember CJ told me, he said, look, you just got to a different sexual level with her, and I would not talk about sex at all when you meet her. I would not jump to that. And he's like, you're kind of a crazy dude. You're like the dude that goes for this shit, and like you fucking, there's a line and you don't see it, and he's like, just don't bring it up. Just don't bring it up. She'll bring it up. And when she brings it up, then go to the hotel room and fucking, make, do what you guys have been waiting to do and built up, but don't bring it up. And I thought back because I'd done this with girls, and at the time there weren't that many, good text message people, or they weren't known yet or whatever. And I was like instantly very good at it and instantly very sexual at it. And, I was like, that's true. Like if I'm like going, cause I'll go nuts, man, I'm going to like demon fuck your ass or whatever, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, this guy's talking to me like insanely. I've never had this done, but I like it. And da, 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 da. And, basically if I'm like, oh yeah, like fucking, I could fucking smell your pussy from here. Like it's one of the first things that I say to her. Now over text, I'm saying that, but text is fantasy land. And then immediately I'd get resistance, and it would be putting a wall in front of me. So sometimes I wouldn't get laid. Sometimes I'd have to do all this like extra fucking rapport work to counter that. But it put an extra barrier when I was immediately sexual, or is how I was like graphically in the text messages. And see, the thing that CJ pointed out and that he got, even though he didn't get the phone sex thing, he sat the same day, sat there listening to me having it with somebody for as long as he could tolerate and bear. He actually gave me some of the best advice, which is like, she's meeting you. You got this. She's meeting you. You're traveling somewhere and she is meeting you. Like you got it covered. You're a guy and a girl, number one. And then number two, like you guys have been talking about all this stuff. Don't bring it up. If you bring it up, she's going to think you do this with everybody. She's going to think you see her as an object. She's not going to see the other side, which is necessary for sex to take place in order for her to open up. So be that other guy, which is just you, like probably enjoying hanging out with her. Go get coffee, go eat, whatever, go do something, hang out, and she'll bring it up. And I shit you not, within 2 hours, she brought it up and we were hooking up. And I just remember, like, after we hooked up, she was like, I can't wait to read the lay report. And then she did. And I was like, okay, fine. So I can write whatever I want. Like, at the time, that was like a big thing, it was 2007. And I'll tell you guys the LR off the record. But she goes the next like week or whatever, she was like, Jesus Christ, that was fucking brutal, man. God. But the thing is with this is when it comes down to like the phone sex thing, you're reaching a different level of sexuality with that girl. Okay, anytime you reach a different level of sexuality with that girl that is different, and it could scare her, and it's like, oh my God, I felt something, like this is nuts. Or she's just, sex can make people uncomfortable in so many ways, but all the way to having sex in a different way. Like if you have sex in like a really violent or crazy way, because sex has all the different components in it, and we like all of them. There's a time and a place for all of them. And if we have that time and a place for one that she's never felt before, or you've never felt before, and something goes a little bit wrong, like you sense you might get rejected, you sense that things are a little bit off, dude, it can fucking make you run like a motherfucker. And it'll make you do it. It'll make the toughest guy do it, whatever. But the thing is that you've got to realize there's that other side, which is like, oh no, yeah, who are you? Like if you've had that experience of phone sex, if you've had that experience of heavy sex, text sex, whatever stuff, if you've made out in the bar or club, like you just need to realize that your best play after that is to be the guy that is totally passive and almost aloof to sexuality, because it's already there. That frame is set, that definition is there. And it's like, oh yeah, man, no, I could be the nice guy. I could be everything that pickup tells me not to be. I could be, just cool and whatever. Like, dude, if I get there with that like super, super like sex vibe, I am then going to be the biggest like fucking AFC pussy. Like that is actually a way better game plan than being tough and cool and alpha. And it just makes it so much easier. And the next thing is like, where do we meet? When do we meet? When do we hang out? I just want to be alone. No threat. It'll take care of itself. She will bring it up. She will say something like, so I can't believe there's this side of you, and then there's the side we were talking on Tuesday night. And it's good to go. That's your green light, and that's where to take it. Anyway, hope that was helpful.